J is the 10th letter in the ISO basic Latin alphabet. Its normal name in English is J or jdʒeɪ. When used for the Y sound, it may be called ʻjʒd. History: the letter J originated as a swash character, used for the letter I at the end of Roman numerals when following another I, as in XXIIJ instead of XXII for the Roman numeral representing 23. A distinctive usage emerged in Middle High German. Gian Giorgio Trissino was the first to explicitly distinguish I and J as representing separate sounds, in his Epistola del Trissino della lettera nui per malvamente la lingua italiana of 1524. Originally, I and J were different shapes for the same letter, both equally representing and. But Romance languages developed new sounds that came to be represented as I and J. Therefore, English J, acquired from the French J, has a sound value quite different from use in English. In English, J most commonly represents the affricate. In Old English the phoneme was represented orthographically as CG or say. Under the influence of Old French, which had a similar phoneme deriving from Latin, English scribes began to use I to represent word initial of Old English, while using DG elsewhere. Later many other uses of I were added in loan words from French and other languages. The first English language book to make a clear distinction between I and J was published in 1633. In loan words such as Raj, J may be pronounced by some speakers. In some of these, including Raj, Taj Mahal, and Beijing, the regular pronunciation is actually closer to the foreign pronunciation, making this an instance of a hyperphoreignism. Occasionally J represents the original sound, as in hallelujah and fjord. It also represents the sound in Spanish loan words such as a euro jalapeno plus or minus o euro unregistered trademark. In English, J is the fourth least frequently used letter in words, being more frequent only than Z, Q, and X. It is however quite common in proper nouns, especially personal names. Use in other languages: the great majority of Germanic languages, such as German, Dutch, Icelandic, Swedish, Danish and Norwegian. Use J for the palatal approximant, which is usually represented by the letter Y in English. Notable exceptions are English, Scots and Luxembourgish. J also represents in Albanian, Baltic, and those Uralic and Slavic languages that use the Latin alphabet, such as Hungarian, Finnish, Estonian, Polish, Czech, Slovak, Latvian and Lithuanian. Some related languages, such as Serbian and Macedonian, also adopted J into the Cyrillic alphabet for the same purpose. Because of this standard, the minuscule letter was chosen to be used in the IPA as the phonetic symbol for the sound. In the Romance languages J has generally developed from its original palatal approximant value in Latin to some kind of fricative. In French, Portuguese, Catalan, and Romanian it has been fronted to the post-alveolar fricative. In Spanish, by contrast, it has been both devoiced and backed from an earlier to a present-day /x to h/, with the actual phonetic realization depending on the speaker's dialect. In modern Standard Italian spelling, only Latin words, proper nouns or those of foreign languages have J. Until the 19th century, J was used instead of I in diphthongs, as a replacement for final E, and in vowel groups. This rule was quite strict for official writing. J is also used to render in dialect, for example Romanesque aju for standard alio. The Italian novelist Luigi Pirandello used J in vowel groups in his works written in Italian. He also wrote in his native Sicilian language, which still retains the J to represent. In Basque, the diaphoneme represented by J has a variety of realizations according to the regional dialect: J, E, I, E, E Florin, X. The letter J is generally not used in the modern Celtic languages and Englishan, except in loan words. Among non-European languages which have adopted the Latin script, J stands for in Turkish, Azerbaijani, and Tatar. J stands for in Indonesian, Somali, Malay, Igbo, Shona, Oromo, Turkmen, and Zulu. It represents a voiced palatal plosive in Konkani, Yoruba, and Swahili. In Kiowa, J stands for a voiceless alveolar plosive. In Chinese pinyin, J stands for an unaspirated Q. The Royal Thai General System of Transcription does not use the J, although it is used in some proper names and non-standard transcriptions to represent either a te or a sh, te degree. In Romanized Pashto, J represents U, pronounced ʻdʒeɪ. J is not used frequently in the Native American languages Gwich'in, Ha-Currency-N, Kaska, Tagish, Tlingit, Navajo, and northern and southern Tutchun. Computing codes, one also for encodings based on ASCII, including the DOS, Windows, ISO 8859 and Macintosh families of encodings. Unicode also has a dotless variant, E for use with combining diacritics. In Unicode, a duplicate of J for use as a special phonetic character in historical Greek linguistics is encoded in the Greek script block as I-cubed. It is used to denote the palatal glide in the context of Greek script. It is called j in the Unicode standard, after the German name of the letter J. An uppercase version of this letter was added to the Unicode standard at U+037F with the release of version 7.0 in June 2014. In the Wingdings font, the letter J is rendered as a smiley face. When attempting to use the Wingdings J to produce the smiley in an HTML email, the recipient may not see the intended formatting because HTML email may be unsupported by the recipient's email platform or otherwise disabled. This leads to the appearance of seemingly out-of-place JS, leading some to facetiously use an unformatted J as a stand-in for a smiley. Other representations. References. External links, media related to J at Wikimedia Commons, the dictionary definition of J at Wiktionary, the dictionary definition of J at Wiktionary.